Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. All right, two quick topics. We'll get out of here. I can't believe how long I'm going today. I want to give a shout out quickly to the Tennessee Volunteers. And we're just bouncing around team to team. I told you we were going to do this. But Tennessee, they laid the smackdown on Missouri on Saturday. And I will say, got to call a spade, got to take an L sometimes. Tennessee against Missouri, that was one of my best bets. And I did like Missouri. I thought Missouri would keep it close. I thought they would keep it respectable. Instead, the exact opposite happens. Tennessee jumps out to an early lead. They stuff the ball down Missouri's throat, and they win convincingly going away. And as I watched that game, I just couldn't help but think one thing. I am amazed at how far Tennessee has come in such a short time under Jeremy Pruitt. And to backtrack, I'll give you a little history. So, one, I know that I look young and handsome and charming and dashing. Oh, sorry, I went a little overboard there. But what I can tell you, I'm not as young as I look. And I've been in some capacity writing about college football for basically 10 years. First year I really did this in any form, and it definitely wasn't a full-time job at the time, was the year Lane Kiffin was at Tennessee. So that was a long time ago, okay? And I bring it up because while I haven't always been a full-time writer, and there's a couple years there where I was working behind the scenes at Fox, I wasn't doing what I do now, I've basically watched every Tennessee game from the Lane Kiffin era to the Derek Dooley era to the Butch Jones era to the current Jeremy Pruitt era. And during that time, I have seen Tennessee lose in some of the most immaculate, spectacular, embarrassing ways that a program can lose. Back in the day, this was years ago. This was during the Derek Dooley era, so we're talking 2013, 2014, whatever. I had a phrase, I had a term. It was a hashtag. Hashtag, you know how hashtags are so cool? And the hashtag was, it's always something with Tennessee. Because if you watch Tennessee football during the Derek Dooley era or even during the Butch Jones era, it's always something with Tennessee. They always found a way to lose the worst way and the most excruciating way possible. It was never just you lose a game. It was always you lose a game because you're driving for the winning score and you're in field goal range and then you fumble. Or you're driving, you're going to be in field goal range, and you step out of bounds one yard short of the yard marker. Or there's a pump block. Or whatever. There's always something with Tennessee. Always find a way to lose. Never can just win a game normally. Get a lead, take a lead, win convincingly. I remember Derek Dooley's last year. I think it was they got into some crazy shootout and needed triple overtime to beat Charlotte or something. I can't even remember. It was embarrassing. And I'm not going to lie. When Jeremy Pruitt was hired, I thought it was a really good hire, but it was kind of the same thing those first couple years. And it was kind of the same thing the start of last year. The Georgia State game, they lose, they get dominated. They lose to BYU at the last second in the game they could have won. And I kind of thought, maybe this program is just perpetually cursed from now until the end of time. And instead what happened was something that I think happens a lot in college football and in sports in general. Tennessee had to figure out how to win. You get close, you keep falling, you get back up, you get close, you fall, you lose on the last second, and then they finally broke through last year. I think it really changed. They played Georgia out of a bye week, and they looked really good against Georgia. They didn't end up winning the game, but they looked really good. And then, of course, they got on this current win streak that they're currently on. They won 6 straight to close last year, including the bowl game win over Indiana. And then you fast forward to this year, right? And you're going through and you're like, oh, is Tennessee too hyped? Are they really this good? And then Saturday happened with Missouri. And it was one of the most surreal things that I've ever seen from this perspective. Tennessee just came out. They have a big, strong offensive line. The kid Cade Mays just got eligible this week. Trey Smith, offensive tackle, really good player. And they just physically kicked the crap out of Missouri. And to watch that game, it was just shocking. It was just shocking because it's been so long And you have to remember, I grew up late 90s, early 2000s. Tennessee football was a juggernaut, okay? They were like what LSU is right now or what Georgia is right now. Some years they'd be in the national title race, but they'd always be top 10. They're always really good. That was the Tennessee that I grew up on. It has been so long since Tennessee has just gone out, taken a lead, and then physically kicked the crap out of another team and broke their will. And that's exactly what happened on Saturday against Missouri. Get the lead, lean on that big offensive line. Jarrett Garantano, they don't put too much on his plate, and they just physically kick the crap out of Missouri. It was just unbelievable to watch. It's a credit to Jeremy Pruitt. I thought he would be good. I didn't think he would turn them around this quickly. Two other things. First off, to the non-Tennessee fans, I know what you're going to say, they haven't beaten anybody. I get it. Beating Missouri twice, beating Vandy, beating South Carolina, like that's not like, we're not going to get Jeremy Pruitt a statue. We're not going to write his autobiography tomorrow. But you got to learn to beat the bad teams first before you move on to the good teams. And that's exactly what Tennessee is doing right now. We'll see how far along they are because they play Georgia this weekend. But the other thing is, and I also tweeted this on Saturday, shout out to Tennessee fans. Last thought, because when I saw that game, I thought of Greg Schiano. And y'all remember how close they were to hiring Greg Schiano, and the fan base just said no. Fan base just said this is unacceptable. We are not going to let this happen. We are not letting this guy be our head coach. Do better. John Curry got out. Phil Fulmer comes in. He brings in Jeremy Pruitt, and now they've won 8 straight. And so credit to the Tennessee fan base for not accepting good enough, for not accepting Greg Schiano, for getting in Jeremy Pruitt.